This idea I brought about in a post that's somewhat related to this chapter. I made an online post called "The Political Mantra," and within that, one of the points I share is this idea that uh, in the optimal, sorry, I should say this, the optimal level of um, justice, the optimal level of justice in any real society is not zero.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one to get around. And part of getting around it means tolerating free speech to the point where I can say something as uh, difficult and annoying as that, and we can talk about it. So this point of the optimal level of injustice in any real society is not zero. Like obviously in an ideal society, the optimum level of injustice is zero. That'd be great. But because we're fallible, um, we cannot implement a society of without injustice, a society of complete justice. And that means that if we try to get to 100% justice, we are going to do more injustice. So I don't think there's any way to assign a number to it. There's no way to really know like how much injustice is okay. And we kind of just sort that out by protests and civic unrest. Like, I mean, the bottom bar is you end up with a revolution if you fall into too much injustice too long. And we don't really, we don't know what that is until we hit it. So that's uncomfortable. That's a bummer. And again, what that means in practicality is there's going to be injustice. You're probably going to experience some injustice in your life. And because it's unjust, some people are going to experience more injustice than other people. And not all of it's going to be resolved in the courts in a way that's satisfactory, even to the person who might, in principle, be satisfied by something like that. So, anyhow, the point is, our societies are going to be unjust to a certain degree. And that entails practical tolerance in everybody's life of like, you know, we we might we just have to bear some injustice. I mean, there's no other way around it. And that doesn't mean shut up and don't complain because complaining is how we let people know, hey, injustice is here, injustice is rising, like let's not let it keep going. And our court systems are supposed to seek justice for each individual. But as an individual, you also have to accept, okay, there's going to be some injustice. And I think this is complicated too, you know, by the what not diversity, the scale of the travel in our society is really what I'm trying to say. The interconnectedness. Like you're not just dealing with your neighbors, like you might have an issue across state lines much more frequently now than you would in the past. But at the same time, not like petty issues can be solved between neighbors, and you can sort of expect a higher level of petty issues to be solved at the local level. But not every petty issue, much fewer petty issues are something that is going to be dealt with across state lines. And that involves a higher level of injustice because people are going to be getting screwed over in ways that they can't actually seek justice for in an effective way. And then, so that maybe there's a reality that there's going to be a higher level of injustice the more mobility you have in a society, the more spread out your society is, and the more um, disparate the court systems. So anyhow, that is difficult. That causes difficulties, uncomfortableness, suffering, real suffering. And I think, obviously we should have the virtue of justice and the ideal of justice, and people should champion that and support that and seek that. But if you expect 100% justice with such fervor, and then you come up against the realization that, oh, that's never going to happen, then you can end up going down the nihilist road of like, well, reality's just so screwed up, it's not even worth it because the only thing that's acceptable is 100% justice. And that's not reality. So either you have an ability to tolerate that um, disparity, that lack of justice, and then we can have a functional society, or you don't. And the more people that don't, the more we move to a non-functional society.
I I agree with you 100%. I don't think that you can naturally get to a 100% just society. I think that's at least a surface level goal of a lot of technocrats as well. We want to implement, kind of like a minority report, where
Mhm.
we want to give all the entire justice system and the entire legal system on off to a an AI, that doesn't have is completely impartial to the situation and can't be bought or anything like that. But then again, you got to worry about, well, who's programming that system. But there's always that natural ebb and flow in society. It's like, as soon as a society becomes comfortable and distracted, then that's where the injustice starts to really uh grow and ferment. And then as soon as the repercussions of that injustice start to seep into society, that's when people are like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on over there? We gotta get your pitchforks, get your,
Hmm.
let's get them." And so it's almost cyclical. It's like it goes,
Mhm.
it ebbs and flows. And I think that at least where we're headed to now is that the people that are, and maybe I need my tinfoil hat for this one, but it would appear that those that are in power that are really showing their hand in the amount of injustice that is going on are also trying to inhibit those that are going to have the backlash, right? It's like, yeah, we're engaging in this injustice, but now we're going to limit your ability to come after us. It's like, how are they going to implement technology in such a way to prevent people from waking up and calling out their injustice and saying, hey, we're not going to tolerate this behavior anymore. But again, it will never be zero. Injustice will never be zero. So that's just the name of the game. It ebbs and flows. It's like, is it wrong of me to say that I would rather have that than like an overarching permanent AI system that is primary function is supposed to enact zero injustice?
No, I mean, I think obviously not, because again, there's no such thing as a real society with zero injustice. And one of the things that Solzhenitsyn pointed out in the Gulag Archipelago was that because the Soviet system decided that it had eradicated injustice, that is what made it so unjust, is because it could never hear, hey, there's injustice going on, because it was convinced that it was the perfect system. So
Right.
once you have the idea that you're the perfect system, then you're going to go really far in the wrong direction.